nabra na wonso besua de se wani da so anase po eni suade hunu no pese
so senyame dia dum bi dum yen na ohwe ya chair bre no wabra no mienu abapa ho ekwane de a na ni echewa ne se ye de Ekwanso Brebre dwumedie ane ye de ebrewo abusua Ekwanso Brebre dwumedie ayade ye de ahwe yie ade brain o ya kwan so ane ya kwantempon so ane ya fie mu se ne ye betini atena na ye kwan be fa so a ye bo ye ho ban na atoye nchem enkoto ye ewo mpofiri mu senti ana aya ne ye ne bibi ti se ashoye a eye ojadum asoyefo anase Ghana National Fire Service, Ghana National Ambulance Service, ye sign any MTT for Asia, ye Ghana Police Service and so Asia, ye Energy Commission for Asia, ye eye EPA for so Asia. When we na agency ye no nyina ekabom na afa ya hwekwan e befa so a ye bo enkwa ene agapade ho eban ni awese ya kwan so a ya akwantempa wodo a ye moje rose na ye man nyina mu no so no ye be se so be jojo na ya hwese akwanhia dodo a esisi ebi ye eja ebi ye ka akwanhia ebi eye sebe se ye dan ebu ye sauce ebu obon se eja to hanom wenum nyina eye nia yakeka boma abrebi ye be se ye ni eye safety eye agency si be hia ni ekwan papa ye be fa so ye kɔ animu na yetumi abo ye ho eban esemu akɔba biem enation kokora eye Tevah TV so dwumadie oso betimi akɔ Facebook YouTube na wakɔ dwumadie ekɔ so ɛwɔ hɔ Tevah Media kɔ Google Play Store no so iOS Tevah Media obetimi do agye nkyɛn so afa 0257434589 0257434589 na yakenka agye kyerɛ no amam edubra esi ede wano so obam na de wano eba nkomo nu ma na se oba bedi nkomo di bi so a ye makwan ama wafrɛ aba eye 0257434589 nene minsa akopanyi kese pa a ono ye kwantrefo ema eye National eye Fire Service ewo eye akim across a pre-mantem mention offense across ADO1 eye onunyamfo eye Bonzi ewo efie hanom ono ye commander edema across district no enne ono ana me ni besin konya na fe yere Ekwanso Brebre na yere kwan e befa so a ejahodo a etoto miamia ye fie mu se ye gana etoto ewo eye emiamia na ehyasie baby kititi bi ebo se ebi e store ebi ye fie mu ebi on ma obo se ebi a se baby e ton ade ye ni be ho so na afi eja no akoye dene ye be hwe kwan ye be fa so ye koye nim no de enti a eja hyehye e koso ye mamu anom adechi bia ye tibi adechi bia tibi na ye bisa se eye timemfo no mfom so ana se ahweye a won ese wo hwe na se ni mo nya tutwa no omo so mfom so ana se obi na enyi na dwuma ye an omman emaye hrisika ye hwe nkwa ana ye hwe agapade so bebre senti enenne ye no owre no nyamfo ADO1 commander eye Bonzi a ono ana oda across district no ano ebetwe nkomo mie medi dwumadi ho chamidin edna e champon ye twe ho aba ye koba afi ye ne National Fire Service ebetwe nkomo ye ba twen
I will see a manamo akwaba Enfambra Media Institute. Media Institute eye biaya yɛkyerɛ emrante ene mbeba sɛnea wobetumi ayɛ papene ɛwɔ nsɛntwerɛ adwuma mekyerɛ radio and TV journalism. Mepacho bomaden nabra na wonso besua de sɛ wani da so anase upo eni suade hunu no pese wo yɛ nsɛntwerɛ ni wɔ my Ghana mu a mepacho tu anamon nabra Arc Media Institute ɛhɔ ɛna yɛbɛkyerɛ radio and TV presentation sanso ɛna program hosting, camera handling, DJing, news reporting, newscasting, MCR, marketing, and in Yakika ho bebre. Arc Media Institute ewo my Ghana mu a etre emofra ene mranti nempo empanifo a wopese woyɛ nsɛntwerɛ adwuma ewo my Ghana ene wiase afana nyina mekanfo Arc Media Institute edi amount ni enti ne say akade a akyerɛkyerɛfo anasa adesuafo edi esuade ni nyina abobi ewo Arc Media Institute bra na be your theory anasa practicals na nia meka ne say practicals no eye 90% and a theory no eye 10% pe na kyerɛ say dwuma wodi ho nyina ne say eni so wodi hu no betumi abemu edi amawo eno nti na ye kanfo Arc Media Institute edi amawo me pacho 3 months and after 6 months courses and a school eye me pacho bra na besua de se ne be ya wo so betumi aye pabene eni suade hu ne adoma kyede a wotwe di aponyankopon edi amawo no ebetumi abemu edi amawo e wo se wotu ya na mawo na oba eye Arc Media Institute ehode akyerɛkyerɛfo a woni mude na wotima bobew na wowa adagyew esai bre na wobɛkyerɛ eye wo ba no na afei so wo fase na de na watumi abe bobew mekanfo Arc Media Institute di amount esane say wo ba baby obe attachment me pacho ye ma wani so enya wotototo da biara da uwie school ni pe obenya baby ay attachment Arc TV e wo hodomo a me pacho eno so eye TV a e wo wiase afana nyina obetumi ay attachment 3 months e wo hodom sara enso ena ye wo Arc online Arc TV online enso wo hodom obetumi abey attachment radio and TV and me pacho me kanfo Arc Media Institute e the amount baby a wodi uti beto me pacho obetumi enya baby de uti ato esan sempanyefo aye san hye nyina ato de daw e the amount anything no memma enya wo dadwen ene yo haw e kra me pacho Arc Media Institute ewo enyinasin Old Tafo Junction apie Mantemo enyinasin Old Tafo Junction ewo apie Mantemo enti bomaden nabra Eastern Region asem ena mekan me pacho betumi afrem penifo ewo 0200 491 565 0200 491 565 and I say 0543 480 299 0543 480 299 Arc Media Institute aha ena wasa uba na obesua de esane say ebre eni adagyew ena kyerɛkyerɛfo no ebesɛy ewo wo ho Arc Media Institute transforming passion into profession
say bra you twa ho na ye commercial break no nya brain ya daje etwa yem na me nkanfo eye Arc Media Institute emfa amount eba insentro adwumam se opeso insentro ni na wadwem ebo bidia ene ne nyina ye Arc Media Institute ye che all classes ne nyina ewo honom ye be cho eye camera handle ye be san actual DJing hosting presentation editing ene enya bebre ekeka ho Newcastle ne nyina no eye Arc Media Institute ebetimi achewe ne nyina ama wonso oba ensentro ne kese pa e omam ene ti ye eye Arc Media Institute ewo eye akem tafo eye old junction ho ana ebe hu eye Arc Media Institute ewo ho nom na wonso akwaji eye nimdie ene nkyerɛkyerɛ papa ewo ho baby ali uti beto de enya problem kra no say wo hwe eye TV ni so a obon say screen ase no ya the Arc Media Institute eye won na ma no egu ase na wa frem panyefo ne ama nkyem coffee send be ya one so betimi akọ no akwaje ntete nimdeɛ afa insenchro adwuman ehon na afei so ya fa sida kese pa ema Act of Salvation ministry once to safro kwasia de biara anopa no twe mega worship ekos ewo Brian Suminyame yebe hu Act of Salvation ministry achi kwan ewo achimyirisi me pacho akakra bia obedi achimyirisi junction on pinu obewu no say ya rest shade and as a point bi on ma ya cho Act City and say obewu Act Act of Salvation ewo ho oto safo bra na onyankopon ebeye wo nkwaje botane afa busia ne ye ka chawa ne say ne Ekwanso Brebre dwumedie bomoden anse o ubenya daje na watena o TV ne ho wo bra me ne onunyamfo kwantrefo a oda AAM asani across so manso AMA omo district ano oye commander 1 owura nunyamfo eko bozi ewo efianu mame koma na kwa abaso nkokra na afi yehwe enne ni omo ediman na nyina ne se enne yekasafa domestic fire and of electrical hazard in fact we ye jahudo etoto emiamia wudo nyina na efana ehase fie mfie and won say ye jahihie na tototo emiamia bebrebe no ye niam ketinketi no na afi akoso say fire alarm a odwene ho a onti ase enti enne yenya kwankyerefo no nyamfo a woda National Fire Service ewo AMA ye constituency na district ya owura no nyamfo ekobonzi no yane ne betwetwe nkomo na afi ya hwe ekwan papa ye kɔ enimu ye betumi abo ajapade ene akra eho eban se ne be ye ajahihie no etubetwa owura no nyamfo mame ma wa aha ene enure
ye nua
wa pom ti sei
nyame adom na ho so ye
boko na asua no ti sei
bibia ye boko
beautiful why fe pa wie yo
ye da mi ase
all right owura no nyamfo yenhwe domestic fires ka domestic fires and of electrical hazard minimum terms no senia mo bechiechire mu afa amama hwefo ene timefo no ati aseti yeni kan enyiwe anama yenchichum no yese ka domestic fires me pacho obechi ase na se ne nchichum tie
okay yo meda wase say me try adwin see last week me buy na so a me ka say fire service no e ba eja ehihye na ya classify no and I see a grouping no into several groups into your to say domestic fires your commercial fires your institutional fires and your vehicular fires into say you can domestic fires are eja eto ye fie mu we ka say identity na eja no de mun ka say jebia eja na we de maka say domestic fire on say yina ye fie mu no ye wo niama bia eye common wo bia fie your activities bia eye common wo bia fie basically bia fie you see TV or you see fridge or you see fan or you see gas those basic things you know emma you to make classifying into one group the basically domestic fire ye eja eto ye fie mu and na domestic fires you know na eja eto ye fie mu niama bebre na deba nti ano no na ye hazards no nti be electrical because you fie bia you see electricity nti any electrical hazards no your cooking hazards that has to do with LPG you see charcoal ni ade eduane any other forms of hazard nti and no mpese ye de ya adwen ko electrical hazards that's eja electricity you see wo fie no e de ba no enginam kanea aha I de ba no na ndenu you say kan wasam yes
yo ye beda onunyamfo ekobonzi asempapa na mira ye be hye nkoma na se no ye nika ehwe domestic fires nansan me say ehonu na Genesis ni na ahwase efi ho because we ye jesishi wo ye market akese na esi wo Kumasi na bi esi wo Katamanto nyina no menya hwe so obi hyeda soja bebe no kosugu honum ye negligence ubans obi cylinder kitwa bi ubans obi electrical wires ubans obi bia aduane kakra bi odisi cropot so na no na edi oye ne kase edi eba ejawdon edo so mira yɛhwɛ mfomsoɔ nketenkete bi a ɛno na yɛn temamufoɔ no yɛyɛ a etumi ɛde ɛyɛ sɛ egya hyehyeɛ esisisi yɛ fie nkyɛn biara deɛ yɛn ho ɔtakora de ɔne ne ba ɛhyɛ dan mu ne gya tɔɔ na ɔne ne ba no nyinaa ahye a wɔn tumi sɛ ɛnyɛ obi na ehwie petro de gu dan no mu ɛna ɛnyɛ obi na ɛkɔ so gya ɛde ne ta ɛbɛgu nkyɛnsedan no so refin sheet no so ɛpa amanches nanso yɛn ho kwanko a egya tumi hye maame ɛne ba no nya mira yɛn nneɛma bɛn ɛna yɛyɔ ɛne nneɛma bɛn ɛna ɛwɔ yɛn ho a ɛno na mefi sɛ bɛ yɛn mfomsoɔ ne yɛn ho kwan a yɛdandan no ɛdi gya hyehyeɛ no ɛde ɛbɛba.
Okay, nti wɔn sɛ ɛba domestic fires na yɛwɔ nneɛma a yɛfrɛ nsɛn ɛde ba ebi yɛ negligence yɛka negligence na onimadeɛ no but ayɛ sɛ wɔbu ne ni egu so ne yɛwɔ ignorance onim sadeɛ a ɔyɛ yɛbɛtumi de ɔhaw abrɛ no ɛne yɛwɔ arson ɛno no ɛyɛ criminal offence yɛ obi ahyɛ da ankasa de gya atum ne adeɛ basically ne yɛwɔ act of God ɛno natural disaster de gya aba nti nneɛma bi no sɛ bɛstart efie nankasa yɛhyɛ aseɛ efie no esi ɛdan no wosi wo dan a wobɛyɛ electrical wiring wobɛyɛ plumbing there are certain nneɛma nketenkete bi a ɛsɛ wosiki professional advice ɛno nti na te sɛ energy commission for the app bi aba sɛ wobɛyɛ wiring ansa na wobɛyɛ wiring no wobɛpɛ qualified or certified electrician na wayɛ wiring na ma now in wiring your house no one the first thing you must do is say apart from say wapɛ qualified electrician no two no use the correct materials quality cables especially cables no quality cables and offer professional no lay no the right places because and yet to say we see down there wiring keke your baby will fear anymore dina we see no crana you need say the wire fa especially baby I will lay pipes I in super film you don't lay wires by it send your baby wiring near the no a call roof anymore or the wiring better trunk in mu say be say be crania the nya kwan and we near there all those things when you certified electrician na obey amount no way you don't use inferior goods but use quality goods. Now most of the time the challenge is if you say if I make so a cable where I make you see there ne board in dodo ye ni bi wo ha a board near form which is a mistake. Now too baby now so you see a dyna sometimes we look at our current condition you see dyno say oh see I miss dyno TV pen am wo and it may you see why I say bit me afa TV pe but you don't know say echina no never bit me asesa now you need a fridge you need a microwave you need air condition. So, yeah, we see that now you're wiring now. You do proper wiring to cover all these things. Send a say improvement be banner. You are acquiring these gadgets now. Say your electrical system is safe. But what happens? Let's say so you see inferior materials, substandard cable. Bringing on board these new materials, you are overloading the cables. So from time to time, no one say cable need heat, which causes fire. Now, wires are the way you see qualified electrician and wire wiring in the area. After the about war as a person, how you use your electricity. Even first, we started with overloading. I think say you're overloading, but most of the time, no, people have a misconception about the overloading. Overloading in necessarily say, you find some fire extension board in your example. Extension board no was slots by 10.
Yeah.
Overloading necessarily yes say what plug in yama or 10 in so no now you overloading no extension board be our na holding say auto extension board papa we share asie na the wattage no wo so we be 100 watts 1000 watts 5000 watts now so okay the extension board 500 watts na slot say was on 10 and you plug just one iron 100 watt you've overloaded it. Into most of the time misconception and overloading they say oh na sudden the slots in bebre ade ba akopɛ na ma plug was so into me overloading no the moment I would idea na honde ebro extension na honde no ehye pe you've overloaded it. That is why we advise say never be to say a fridge, never be to say microwave, never be to say kettle, air condition, iron. You don't use an extension board but you give it to the direct source, and that has to do with overloading. Now two, the extension boards now you see with you know. obi wo percent dem ye fe nti on pese be hu say cables enam no ho nti or run extension board no under carpets any under doors, which is also totally wrong. Now memfa under doors no anyway. Now extension board no wo door na sia ubie door no now cabo door ni tumnya no na a peel of the insulation, that is all rubber right. Yeah, we knowing. Now what happens is a peeling area no one, the hazard of shock, you can be electrocuted. Yeah, that is uti as well. Two, why expose the live wires no, the why expose the live wires no, like a carbon creative parts per carpet and I say any flammable adhesive catch fire. It the same thing applies to the alpha carpet. I say on anti-faso no, na a peeling off, na peeling off, na expose. So that's why we advise say who lay extension board and a cable. You don't lay it under carpet, you don't lay it under doors, and I say even under chairs. Ube moving up and down. Yes, that has to do with extension board. I feel so. Yes, I know. You never be to say your microwave, your decoders near there. I know say sometimes near PC CC if ye. Yes, but once we be or hard decoder no, or we are not the rubber akataso, not the mat akataso. Now perhaps in near me ya broni no ye no we create spaces be or yeah. I find vents into sadeni heat here in from afaho say the baby to be cooling no. So okay, I'm actually bisa because say idea ma ejaba nyama miensa heat fuel any oxygen. All right. Inti we close event no, it is heating up, the heat is present. Yeah. Oxygen no around us. Idea nankasa na ewe na plastic. Into mana odi ahata so no so ye fabric. You've given it fuel. So pum ejabe to me aba. All right. So these are some of we work so na me we no foforo and si one ahwe no suddenly ne jatom. Yes, foforo, but you created the environment for fire to have what the exact conditions for it to be flammable. Yeah. All right.
Your mirror on commodity no baby and fi say ye betwe yahwefo any ye tiefo adwe asisi ye pan ye baby a ye electrical like socket aya na ye tumi plug ye items no ewo mu no pa anampe say yenhwe awakakra one say bibi ti say makoto extension socket na mediaba yema say me maame ebia adwo bedu a sabio one co school no etifie no na abranti bo aso say maame me pe bia me program TV anase bia me tape bia me anase me radio ni betie enwum eti wo ba wonu say ebia okoto socket ne eba se nia wo kan ya no socket ya ne ye plug fridge wum at the same time the TV ashim at the same time no bo say ayo na so ye di shame so at ya say be meanwhile so bo wonu say ebia cable na ewo rubber sinimu no enya de na ho de edu niema na ye de ema no so no sa de we no krese ha ye papa hey ye nyina ye di mufobi ye nyina di mufobi ekwan be ne ye be fa so a ye ko ye nimi ka we mi fe se ke nya energy commission for a committee mi aboya me yehu the standard socket ye be wonu say we de ade a ye betimi de say items we nyina agusu a enya problem minim se won say aya na ba ye local one bia aya na yankasa ye ma electricals na electricians no etubo won say bia yakoto wood na onwangasa wetimi manufacture say wood no na or the bear socket bear for aboso but we won say cable no ebi on kra omo de say 1.5 no 2.5 no de aye eno me pacho eno no insunsuo be ne de ene socket aya na yakoto a mama si ya krefi amanoni ediba ya memu a.
Okay, so senior mekan no ka say when your extension board ne bia wona ho den na from the beginning make can say ka say energy commission amania my easy apart from say momo app no these electrical show and electricians no more workshops near there no they are certified apapa no are certified inti one na okwa they make sure say okwa a certified person ho okwa watch say oh me extension board na me de kwa ma fridge and I say even though for us we don't recommend say extension board kwa recommend for oh me extension board me de recommend me TV and I say me de recommend me fan then he will recommend the appropriate one. But you see the challenges we are having is say why recommend the number say we no say be 100 cedis no nipa no so ne boarding my 30 cities here, which is a substandard one. So ideally, no, say your corner recommended the standard one in my hand. We should acquire now the locally manufactured ones. No, say now can a cable no be dependent, a bit determined at the able to me a plug it also. Say nipa you see 2.5 mm, not the year no proper wiring now. I think say it is in good condition to handle our TVs and sometimes even our fridges. Until it all comes down to the electrician or ye jubano. Because sometimes I be quite masamba using a qualified and certified electrician because no you're certified no until on find certificates and to line so just because of maybe 100 cities or 200 cities. But with our eagerness to get cheap products, near bypass your mono to wait the boarding, wherefore, and that is one of the things that is affecting us. So if we get a qualified electrician and he does a standard thing for us, I think we will not have much of a problem.
Mira, nyawo ken. Any nurse one day be electrical gadgets or more ton. Edu baby so se subo no so ye betwa bia bom kire se nipa na okoto ade no so ati ase ono oye obi asabi onnim bibia fa electricals no nanso obekoi na bia o se medical progo fridge wo so me progo iron wo so ati ase be ono so on person scale be ko nti obeka so we so to a ebe what ati ase anke ense se anke otoma ne kraka so maami we nkwa ne metoma ode a eyade a ebetimi ha ntimi ntoma mo kono ko pesike be eden e kan anyasa okoplogo a ebetimi di wa ha aba nanso ono ne oton ade no ono sika no penti do basa mauni a ene o sika no be shebe so uyisu ebe de be no de amaw enti wo mo nso no ekwan be de do betimi o ma fa so a wo mbebo ne etimi asanta system ne enkoba se tebie eja hihye be koso ye fie
okay enti won say na me kan no last we can make a statement when I always repeat safety is a shared responsibility enye obakofo ejuma eyina ejuma safety na a shared responsibility enti me na me ton ade no I have to play my role the oba beto ade no must play any role now waba makachra will say well anyama na wabobo so say me de kwa akoye no substandard we say that be change na open low one ideally no me na me to make say na ode kwa akoye dia enye intimate ton ma but in the other angle no so your business what I say ono so your business somebody can say in the same situation be between say okay me ba meto extension board what they call them me ma me na say member meto he will sell it for you so wona wo dey kwa you see wo fie na you are at higher risk no you must also make your safety your priority into wo kra nanka wo ye eager say oh and the idea no misika so then the meko na makwa akoye den akope ska beto the correct one because sa moment na ebia ube dodge sa ebia 70 cities 100 cities no sa okoko you see ade na baba toja eja tomo a you will lose more than that so what I say example is say if there's one thing we want to see extension boards once say plug ya dey woman na o noise yes it means it's whatever you have plugged and I said then our plug
it's so heavy
it's heavy for the extension board and I say overloading no it's in the creative sparks no but most of the time we ignore it and on the picture be two screen so go say your friend is saying and it is in most houses go say the sockets no why if you
okay and then you who screen so no okay
why if he a dine home instead of so be my electrician about connect amano no most with Janice are now exposed a bit of how won't say ne plug gadget be and TV and I say the way no Benz kakraba home instead of so be no masesa plug na mano no na o using is all these things are hazards so all these things are hazards it is a na yet me mufo na ye me fie na ma bre ma ye djuma bi 10 years 20 years as some meaning free AC dying no I don't make it as part of my responsibility to put all these things in check and I say we are then me no I'm not helping myself and I'm not helping the nation
Mira ye ko enim no eto de bi nso a sobo ni bi no efiri afo no so fana won so edimu efo kakra nti ya meka saa ne say minim say obetimi aman e bia standard fan say bia single room how many socket na say ye dey ema awo wall no ho because bako hand dan bi na only just I mean one socket pe ke ne ball na say e bia tenant no so ye na dwene say bia opese o bia we extend another socket dey kan wa o say dey bi me dan no me pese obetutu another obese no and also in challenge me feel said can e say fire break Eddie Brian.
Yeah, exactly. It's also a point because when you say a standard efie no if you obey use TV about how now obey use TV obey use fridge, so depend on how you build the house you at least how no create a space when say oh I say na TV bebo into there is an outlet mahana fridge bebo you create extra one because if you remember budget dine apart from saying me TV in my fridge about no my TV will have my fridge one. I may decide say may you see computer, may create a small office space be. So I say so you create enough sockets. You create enough sockets. The kitchen will create sockets. Wait, but there are some houses if you want to cry now no there's one socket as all can. Now me plug in my TV in my decoder pe I am on my own pene kwan near there. So sometimes you see internet if you run on say oh be sit down now be using it for commercial purpose. And also you must come to fire service for certification. Say be sit down now using it for commercial purpose. You must come to fire service for certification because a baby and nipa ba betna. So we must ensure say or more mobile betna dining no their safety is assured. Until all the banner your mouse are fire plan near the na. And you bet you say no sockets do draw wire no iswa exits are wire iswa. So what I say, so all those things are in place, but it is as to nipa na obeka was you dan me see me and make akoti name me fine but in a year 2 years time no both have there na adane commercial now you see yen ankasa no as citizens yen can okre sometimes you see say nipa is using that thing for commercial purposes or near the right thing you go and approach and tenant now no nti no bobo ne ho ban na wakọ na wo kwaka sa asehye no oka so enye ya man rent to a fee we defend ourselves in a negative way sometimes my main jumping me as some can jumping quite sometimes in our market once in the neighbor you see gas or market or once in the neighbor you see coal pot or market or it is a hazard a bit me a market a bit me when do me a bit me ashe and you say it is not allowed but fire for na bano and I say market owners na bano mobile be check no buy inspection no one can say fire for neighbor into faculty. And that's some of our problems that we face. It's young as citizens, and instead of saying you better check here, we are also not checking ourselves by we boneno.
Yo, Ebushia, Safin what trabe yo TV Tevah TV now. Beso TRCS and Yeni Odum Jaju Meko a National Fire Service and a year chinkomo Ekwanso Brebre and ne Yakasafa domestic fire. And after electrical hazard. And yama way yadi enya a prior emery Accra any Japadi away ye fee mu any ye maimu ye papa. Mira, wadaruma, be say, yentia no tell. What can be say, if you really see now, or no one say be or non a bedroom. But Mira, if you say, on one crown or bedroom cry, you want to say, every queen be a near ma or person usual
Exactly.
A bay more. It is so many commercial, say, near commercial. Me patrol, ye bet to me and she should be say abia, or she abia studio higher and a single room. Minim say energy commercial for the boys, one how many seconds at least minimum. Akibenya au ebia single room na fi ya hwe hall and na bia chamber hall minimum kra no office socket and say nyo single room biem.
Yeah, so you see I don't know the certified electrician and as a qualified electrician, you know, ejuma I can say some but I want that one per se do I certified to do that to say it. Now you see internet from the beginning make us say who sit down now you go in for a certified or a qualified electrician or no share room size no and it's not only about the room size but even how the room is shaped. No one say okay room where the wire you know be TV record has say I say the wire no I know office space and as I have no fridge record has say he will be able to determine the positioning of those things. No, yeah, or create adequate sockets for it. But send American no, you see a Diana we tried too much to cut costs. I know that the problem be brave, no, because now be brave say and sometimes so abro when you say no ba betting him on consider whoever is coming to stay inside but ideally the each hall about 3 outlets minimum. It is not bad. So I know they say okay, TV inside 2-in-1 so if I plug my TV, I plug my decoder, and maybe a fridge one. There's another one I plug my. There's an extra one for charging of my phone, for charging of my laptop, and this at least minimum. It's okay. But a certified electrician or room no makeup, no room no dimension. Obey to me, I'm a proper.
Mira, Anka, said you be my hair for any material for bet think one as you panakawe, Kebe Energy Commission for Nakam me when say beer, because extension socket, Effie as a year, Tonton Kania one near ma. It be a year for the Sabia, me perceive a progo a fridge, a be me TV, me decoder, and a be me radio, and I'm a farm use no. You say any man say be anchor socket no yen share the capacity is a 250 watt, 300 watt, and a 500 watt, and no bet me a contain say items here maybe a team because ye king nano timamini the only man socket a extension socket no nim say your program you may be in quantity onim the difference between a wattage any adena all program say there be a new concert adena one bro a year near me a homana na be a socket na made my near the AC sono mira ti obetin me that figures no.
Oh yeah, so basically no o gadgets bia na what no o hwe ho the wattage are on it, the information about machine are using no ne wattage wo ho. Now extension board na o kwa akoto no say extension board papa what can in a CNA the opposite side no baby outlets no one na se no the wattage is on it. Yeah, sure is boldly inscripted on it until one him say okay kesi anadena makwa akoto no 250 watts until me the abafi until be my phone na me plug in here say me way I may plug here say it is as simple as that e was here it is boldly written on it all the papa until one gadget now you see wo fie no so him say why on 1000 watts when him say microwave maybe 800 watts when him say TV 100 and 150 watts you know some of these things until wo no kofa na de na essential wa kwakoto aba no wo fire no woni ma de a wa kwakoto so you know what it can take and what it can't take
yo abusia obetimi akọ YouTube and Facebook ko Tevah media o na wa gogo so ko Play Store no so iOS obo Tevah media o fa dwen twa ne fa 0257434589 0257434589 ya bekin kan wadwen kire no e de ama me nyoru nyamfo ADO1 owura no nyamfo ekobonzi a oye district commander ewo akim across AMA district and H in common mira ye ko enim na ye gusu ade ye common ebeba wie no ye hwe bibi te se ebia mia na menye sika na mi si compound house frishia ubonse is more than 20 bedrooms but exit ni ye one wopon compound so do be bre wo ye memu anum no da ubon ni se ebia gate da no ba gate ne kura no meti akata se ebia nipa miensa pontumi emfem atego je se ebia ba akwa na mienu epe mira nwanu na ye o masudie ene o masede se obenso obi si dan ye frishia be ebia 8 10 kona yenhwe se ebia exit ahe because it even say ebia akwan ana apono ahe na ese wonya because when we nyina ya ade a edi say fire break out in Eden
eba na people are trapped. You see from the onset no who sit down you do your plan, your building plan. With your building plan we are require assembly hall to get your building permit. Now what they call now they call your permits now. The assembly will look at all these things. They forward it to fire service. Even sometimes the plans about what we call the technical subcommittee. Technical subcommittee fire was so NADMO was so EPA was so we look at all these things.
Obi eba homano so kakra nti mame emfa no. Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, mema good afternoon.
Fine afternoon.
Yo, me pacha nkomo yi wonso ugina bi anase wosusu e wo mu sen.
But community fine, fine. My TV station we are the new show and put on there and make it man like a top. Now, my son, bisa me TV na feel ye win 8 you see me taba. Na pacho me say eno na
Yo, mo ye nipa dodo ahin wo fie o.
8 wins.
True say mo ye nipa say ebi ni no mo yiri no mo ma na wo ho me bo ana.
Pacho.
Na mo nyam so 1 meter ho.
Pacho.
Yo, ye da sepa kosoro hwen na ye be so dwumadi no so ye be yi wa no ye da wasepa se onya daje efre ba ye. You also bet me a free by 0257434589 0257438589. What free by ye be so 0257434589 for the channel FIFA na can come amira to aso.
Okay, nti me take on collar na way no. Won say o ka say o mo ye 8 no mo use meter no. The challenge is say challenge on Benyane say they are overloading the meter. So what happens? They say on bills on the backostro because they will always exceed the minimum threshold now. What's that?
Mommy for free now, Sambra.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Your ma good afternoon.
About fine afternoon.
Me pacho dini baby a free.
Your friend is the Asante at Transport.
Yo, me pacho yeti you.
Yo. Nkɔbɔ naa mu di no fine paa na mmom deɛ mɛfrɛ ankorankora ɛne yɛ arewa area ha ne sɛ anaasɛ ɔman Ghana nyinaa ne sɛ at times yɛ na ɔmo de fire service adwuma no di agorɔ hwɛ ɛno a sɛ ɔmo nya case bi saa obi frɛ sɛ egya atɔ baabi nti ɔmo mmra ɔmo antwentwɛn ɔmo n'ase koraa na ɔmo fa ɔmo nneɛma na gidigidigidi ɔmo koduu hɔ a na kyerɛ sɛ nipa ne boa. About that, the next time you do so, not a from no mama. Over Papa Mona, now today, if you are in Pana, your sister Muna, your guardian. If you must pray Ghana for any obvious fire service for man adding because Omunia from Mika or Modebano, we make a kipwa. And I say, you're rather than a yard no Mukono accident. Nanka de Parawaka or Keke. If you must say, fire service adwuma no ya mama mfani agwesa
yo ye da papa pa so ene wo contribution a wo di badwumedi so wa kwanje so betimi afraba 0257434589 na fo adwen kire no efa pa cho betimi akọ eye YouTube and Facebook Tevah Media na akọ eye Google Play Store no so iOS Tevah Media obehu dwumedi nyina wo ho na de badwen kire so afọ mira yenhwe na yenyi the occurrence nipa
nipa be
8 so 8 ne kura no say biomis obi be woyire obi wo ma eti meka say bia minimum kura be bia 20 plus no mu nyina use 1 meter at a go no mira say no ya no.
Okay, so my main tackle no normally ne fan say nipa dodo e wo ho but we look at the gadgets.
All right.
We look at the gadgets nti e betumi aba say nipa 8 no mu ofie ho no obia wo ebia nipa 3 pe na wo TV ebi ni wetumi aba say obia so wo TV 22 wetumi aba say yes but what happens they say because near modos no near na mobile use so doors and there will be load on the meter until one say meter o reading na your threshold your first unit be how you see you pay a minimum amount then the subsequent ones the amount increases until the buyer say because modos na meter na so na usage near high no every time you exceed minimum threshold no so the common factor is say mobiles no ebe kosoro the bills will always go up now so the wiring no mo dey if you know so no to say make from the beginning in the correct type of wiring now then you overload the cables you overload the cables which can cause fire because ebe heat up near the hand but if the wiring is the right wiring fine no problem but they will still face the challenge of high bills and how utility payment here.
All right. Mira, baby, obedi ni message aba. Wasika ho hia ne ye pa nka obi hia nchichemu ye no ye. Me ma obi akoto extension circuit because oho ne yade am feel say ye kenyina because at times we say extension socket ni bi on ma ubeyi no ubo se e bi a anane na ni nyina abom minim se wire express bi da na abom na wire no asɛe so ati ase eni na ki ye pese e bi a ukoto e bi extension socket na e bi a hu se e bi a me plug nyama be for me nyama no e bi a ubobo items ni din e bi a TV e bi a iron e bi a me radio me fine no me hwe ase na capacity no anas e bi a wattage no se a range fi ahe anas ejina he ana me to a se me nyeme a me boss yi me ka se me koyisu a me konya problem bia fire breakout bia ewo mu no hia me ye pass de ya e be hia de fi o
it is na me kind extension board na kwa akoto na onde na wa se nti una onim nti yan fan se extension board no 1000 watts. Then you should know say nyama obe plug it was no the maximum should be about 800.
Enu kwa say could 1000
no when is kwa say could do
very well
because okoto nsuo and okoto cook kra na you filling it to the brim you ja space kakra. It is with every even sometimes even our TVs that we use at home you don't always be volume in see 100% because be volume see 100% I will try you get a problem with the volume set system until you always leave that breathing space for the gadget until when you say nyama na over plug in 1000 then you should look for something that is above 1000 and we should use the right things for the main purpose at the end of the say the year no fine this is what I toss extension board with there but they charge me phones until me to then I in Israel maintain that
okay abusia afena watwa ben wafidie na Tevah TV ana mene udum jaju meko a omowo akem across ADO1 ora ekrobonzi oye kwankyerefo eda asua no etwehwe enkomo ene kasafa domestic fires a ekoso yemfi ene electrical hazard a yemu bebre yedi atoyenchem ni diahyehye eden airbrain mira yenkomo no bepesa ha ne yenti ni tew na yemfa emre awieye say yehia niam ni bebre but ke yebesre efiranom because how kese amfi say ye face pa awo say diahyehye say yesi dan no socket dudu a yede ma edan no yade a hadwin ye papa obi yakra obi atwefim na wode dan ni mema no onkohwe se ne etie bia wase nipa de ba obeye nipa no so ba no sesa ne tie a ono kra ma se me mo ho ka bia menyusu ne saa ne do how ye den brain mesre bia mu so se bebi ehia me pa ye exit ne ye ka ho asem no nansi enche ye nsawam efie nipa makomako 15 etim because of exit no nipa ni bebre nya kwanya ka ometimi escape na ka omaje omo enkwa but gate no kitu bi an edem makomako 16 ewo mu enti kakra ne timi pie na no enu tem omo yese ka omo so aka na beje omo nkwa no na eja no ayede ato mira me pa che o ye ku ye nimi nwanum ne ewo asudie seso obi esi fie enne ana wasi fie dada ye be si efie ne wasi no ekwan ahodo ai na ese wo ye de to se efie ne ho ansa ne ya certify se efie we de ya makwan se nipa timi betenam ye timi de han
okay remember and also about the exit but since and then the electrical way me touch on na my end with exit no electrical way no the one we should also to look out for they say o socket no ne switches near there no say why if you want no na why is not exposed na one immediately no my electrician embra no be fix it because if you want hanging we janesa apart from say no ebe brittle na ebe bubu no enkwala na mo fie ni ade no betumi de omonsa kana they will be electrocuted afenso too ye fifie abejumem ana say ye kokrom ni ade na yen make sure say ye niama ye use no electrical appliances no we turn them off yen switching off na ye switching off we are remember ye nja plugs ni shim ye unplug it we say why do we say ye unplug it sometimes no say we break and say we no say any much effective when there is power fluctuation near the na power ni mu and since it is plugged in our contact no power between after so sometimes you realize we see me hwe me TV na no power makɔ edwuma ba me buy me saw yes emba me call electrician yes board as and never send a board say yes because it was kept plugged in on any form of power fluctuation near the no to make nya access for mu into the TV's board na blown so see fifia you dundum ye niam nyina wi then we unplug it and it is the best way now about the building as I said earlier on no when you're building planner you take it to the assembly. Then the assembly will look through the building or it conforms with the standards now. They when you're building permits to go ahead and build your structure. Now building permit approval way, it goes to the technical subcommittee, which fire is part, EPA is part, NADMO is part. Now the challenge that is there mostly is say, bebre na wio mu no musi dan no. Instead of so befa assembly no why we na wa etu eska kakra no. Owia no hu no we sit down. You see sometimes obi will bet me sit down you will not see because we see first a dime and walk off for permits and we sit down we no what to wall afa dine no until o she ni fie no what to wall afa no she inside no o sit down no sometimes before obi sit down na before obi wa born take grab we see sit down wo ho no na say o rufi and that is the challenge and that's why I always say safety no is a shared responsibility say we wa fe mu there a dine there you have multiple exits. Now, the Sabbath rented dine bino. We rather anywhere one door. We remono. Now we rack kitchen. Now the raw hall. Now the raw bedroom. It's emergency see. Now a sea wall. Door and open. You are trapped. You being trapped, you know. They say window no. So you are saying you see burglar proof. So you are even unable to escape through the windows. It's not as say on burglar proofs now. Then the advisor say they are collapsible one. I think next week we will touch on the building engineering.
All right.
The kind of things you should do, the safety precautions you should put in place. Who will still die now?
In case of fire breakout.
Then you know. So we'll go more into that and we'll go more into the exits. But ideally, there, you should have about 2 or 3, depending on dynamic yes. Right. But the minimum should be about 2.
All right.
But if you have about 4 bedrooms and you should have 3. It's almost a woman sit down or diner or exit or the room for the hall. But kitchen and a corridor. So you will be higher for DP and ideally the have block here but if you so you see if you must was doors in your mama lock kitchen then was some parking near me guichry. So I think next we will touch on all this.
All right. You I was here chibia the jubedin na baby ye nti e wo akwanja se wo so betimi afre na wo do no betin komonom 0257434589 0257434589 obeti no number 2 na odo waje ntwe afa ho mira ye be sorry no ade ba ko nso a eno so koso ye papa eye gas cylinders a ye use ewo efie papa aya na nim na yinim anas oboapa mako baby a otumi se ohwe eye ne cylinder na regulator no while load blocks and odi egu regulator no eso and wale pipe no de ko benanum eno ye number 1 good the tosu biem no ube won se ye regulator na esi ye small cylinders na ye no enuane no aha ewo so no ube se bi on ma ejene fama na afedi arrest regulator no eti no to ube se ejene fam direct eba eno se number 2 nie etosu biem ubo se utu regulator no fish nangasa cylinder nangasa ne neck nangasa main neck no aha ubo se to de bia obedient to mago ene dia sure se bia gas ohun sade na sei anke se odi beko na ye place new one dia ma no no to mago edin ahye wo se ne be ya gas ntimi ye de MPA emma abonte papa when ntimi cause damage e de ma fire breakout ana
yes we say you can domestic fire na me start here American hazards no me electrical hazards no me cooking hazards and a gas about use of LPG na and a cooking hazards no you see it's a whole topic I be can wasem but basically the meta on say one say gas if cylinder when say the water so to avoid leakage then that means seal na demo no a da no I say so you just go to the nearby LPG filling station. Then you change the seal, which is about 2 cedis, it's less than 5 cedis. Now, LPGs, our expiry dates. The cylinder has expiry dates. Nti it is written on the neck of baby aya so the page no bon so matro test date. The test date na manufacturing date no. Nti bon say
papa mpacho expiring date no me pacho ma hefo na tie fo beti ehin fa na egu na won na enim no because obi tiri su na cylinder na otu say arase no de akọ sprayer ho no sense spray no won say ye foforo no yin so enti say ye pese ye hu cylinder na yakoto na ye hwe tam ye de shas ye de tama one year ne ka che say edu sabrewe a wo yusu bi me betime edo hawa bra hen fa ne be hu no egu
ewo se na me ka na wo ne kon na ye so mu di page
aye di regulator ne sisu no
sisu no ye enti bon say company no ye ne din test date ho enti bon test date ne date na mo manufacture no mo test ye no now cylinder no because that you know so we'll give it about 10 years.
10 years.
Yes, 10 years. And after 10 years,
and you minimum
no, like maximum.
All right.
Yeah, so after 10 years there will be the need for you to change it.
Wow.
Now apart from even though 10 years no terms and conditions were home because one baby UDAC are using and near exposed to it. They say UDAC baby now harsh weather conditions no radia rust near the be yentem so that means you should see say ebe expire earlier the moment I won't say me cylinder say me koko paint ho me koko ye say no na rust no you see metal into air rust no painting near the no
the leakage
and solve it
problem
rust no because as much as who say air rust was and air rust inside into a flaky proper inside
the leakage in
the leakage in it it's no the hazard is explosion because LPG hydrocarbons and hydrocarbons how are acting say heat kana no pe kwan ye but because a cylinder now is made of quality material into no e pe kwan ye no entumi nya ne ho pie into wom but air rusting na ho ni flaky na air lighter no now the least way na be ye we now be nya
for ni be sisi ana cylinders
no you see today no we're talking about electrical hazards.
Okay,
so the day that will come you be about LPG.
Okay,
now you be about black cookie hazards you be about we'll bring about pictures and
pictures
and then now it's basically electrical hazards. Yes, so next week then we go about the building engineering, then the next one we'll go about LPG.
Mira yen twa de tanian solution no cylinders no ubekwa obi on no ne de no wabo eye ebia KGB di nua utimi say or preventing kura che say obi hu and not to say na baby a heat ye den eye ma say me di me cylinder bako she baby a heat wo obi kura timi she da si a day bi no say window no natural ventilation bi a fa honum say or prevent say ne be ya cylinder no enkat eye fire break bia eye ne kwan so ana say eno so ade e betimi akoso say problems no.
Okay, so between your cylinder and your burner no ideally it's supposed to be 10 feet apart.
10 feet.
Yes, the distance when baby our cylinder and see
and the burner
baby our burner no say 10 feet apart. Now we advise you say o cylinder no insi abonten.
Okay,
na o burner no inside. Now these are the reasons. One, in case one I want we create this 10 feet apart no o building na nkasa na what between the cylinder and the burner now I create a barrier between the flames and the LPG. Now when there's a leakage, because LPG is lighter than air no, it's a bunting and from one bit the never go outside. But it's inside because a year enclosed no, a bit inside.
Okay.
Into nothing I'll be say about it. Now the reason why I'm going for cage in here because of theft. Okay. We baby we are there, but cage no bar, no metal cage still from
natural ventilation.
Yes, and from a benya kwan afa ho. Now the baby at top no say the rain and direct sunlight will not get access to regulator na bia e be destroy no. Yes.
Yo mira, we have to wait. What say obi a otumi man cylinder no insure to me bono na won say bia ni tina wadi a regulator be so bia na insure bia kwata ho no hu ana say nyu.
Yes, then you until make us say won say even though cylinder no one lifespan no the condition you expose it to no ebe determine the durability. Conditions are when say we exposing daddy na woman is so go so na ta so na area air boss wa obviously it will rust faster than it's supposed to, yes. So it is a hazard. So yes, enjoy sir.
You abushia ye better wasi bebre ye bi no aye be ena me ni onu nyamfo kwankyerefo a woda aye National Fire Service ano ewo AMA constituency ore no nyamfo Ekobonzi AD01 fire commander ana mene no etwetwe nkomo enne efa aye domestic fires and afi electrical hazard home nyame ya duma ne na wotwe sa pepepe no ye beto aso akoye nimu na ye ka kira wo se abusua ye nyina yenyi ye ho se ye be save lives any property adwuma no enye asɔyi a ɔmo ehwɛ odumgya adwuma no so nkoa na betimi aye adwuma no wa ye timamini me nso me ye timamini ankrenkre any every agency bia so ka ho bi sie nyina be boa na eja hyehyie a SCCC ewo miemie na bi ehwe ɔmo nkwa na bi agapade asie no ye betimi abɔ ho eban titru ye nuan ma mo so mo eye gas filling station eye petrol filling station mo responsibility kese pa ese mo play obi ode ne car ne beba woni ye pa se ne car no ode aba na wo fill gas mo no car no gas no enye papa even cable na pass through adi ko carburetor no problem wo ho so ati ase ni nyina mo kan kire se yentime mfele ma fako na yensiesie ne ye ma wode ba na wo hwe eye ne gas no na wotumi se ni neck no problem wo ho a no se wo de ye ma no nko hwiri kakra no de bo beto so a menia mesra ye buenti nso men fele nya den emfa ma no ne nyina ye mo nkwa ani agapade ho ban menia ko o final comment na fe yen sorry so
okay my final comment am make an say ye emergency service Ghana National Fire Service enti ade ba kwa eta high ne prank calls say obi asemi nsi ye na wa frɛ say BBAC eba ne sana bi atama wo frɛ di agro say BBAC no na bibia to obi ampa ono so wo frɛ is now you've placed the person at a disadvantage enti e best say it is criminal and I say anyame because of Ghana card ne
enti abamra betumi anyway
oh yes
oh good
yes enti o friend say jato ofie ne janto ofie na say asemesi na asemsi a it is a punishable offense afei so fire service we are here to serve you ye juma ne say ye de yankwa ato ho ye risk your life so it is unfortunate say sometimes no be obe free emergency now the fire personnel be do order instead of say be supporting to do the work rather no they are attacking us it is quite unfortunate you best say timemufo no they I don't know sometimes they know the condition when you say your road network saying yeah sometimes kwa no more fraud the address that you give no kwa is a challenge sometimes kwa more fraud wrong number so after all these challenges now the most kind no more delay now for the abane you take the risk to come why then do you attack we all yes right. And you best say the attacks on firefighters and the prank calls
yo ora service fa emergency number no emaye na fe so manka se bia mo personal number bia offer emergency no na ntumi ankwa wa mo personal normal call no
okay so your national number
emergency
national number and anywhere in the country friend 192
yeah, 192 but eno ye emergency eno ye national emergency 192
and I say 112
and now 112 112 and 192 112 eno ye emergency
yeah 112 no fra obenya fire obenya police obenya ambulance
all right
but oba ye fire station be one number
all right
to ba across of fire station yeah number ni 0553
192 but sim be mami
0553 192
but
I don't know fry we ba across of fire station
yeah. Okay all right yo abusia ye beda mo asepa se monya abreni adaje na mo hwe yen mo a yentumi ankenka madwenkyira ama mo fa eman mo fa nche papa na mo so a mo antumi afra ma no immediately say dasene nyame da dom duen na ye hia Ekwanso Brebre a ya ma kwan na so watumi abawre na watumi afre medam ahwefo nyina ase na me fa se de kese pa ema owie no nyamfo Ekobonzi oye AD01 a ono na Ekwankyerefo da akim across so man so fire service adwumakuo no ano ɛwɔ ha medi aseda kɛseɛ so pan ma entire production team ne nyinaa enkoma Same Rebecca Danso Abiam ana afe nye engineer the whole show ni nyinaa me call YouTube Facebook ana afe nso ye fa course ni nyinaa no na dwumadi ne ye kama ore no nyamfo Peter me am di dwumadi hu chia me di na champon ye de mo nyinaa se dasane nyame adone atinkoma ye be hia biem Ekwanso Brebre yo wa onka obia ho na ohwe no so ema me de mo nyinaa se ye mam bye
Looking for a place where your faith can grow and your spirit can soar? Welcome to Ark of Salvation Ministries International. At Ark of Salvation, we believe in a faith that's alive, a faith that lifts you up and carries you forward. Join us for powerful worship, inspiring messages, and a community that feels like family. From uplifting children's programs to dynamic youth and adult ministries, we have something for everyone. Experience teachings that ignite your heart and deepen your understanding of God's love. Ark of Salvation Ministries International, where hope is restored and faith finds a home. Service times: Sundays at 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Call 024-770-1364. Ark of Salvation International. Your journey begins here.
I will see a manamo akwaba enfambra Ark Media Institute. Ark Media Institute biaya yechere emrante ene mbeba senia wobetumi aye papene ewon central adwuma mechere radio and TV